Hi, I'm Barry Sahasian, and I'm going to show you how to play chords on bass in another way that you probably haven't seen, using inversions of the chords. For the most part, what I see most players do is play a chord on a bass like a guitar, just using a guitar shape. That works, but sounds good. But I have another way that allows you to move the chords around and make a more interesting line. Sort of a linear type chordal type thing, and it will be based on an F major triad, and I'm going to show you the triad right here, and we're going to be using inversions. We're going to be using, for the most part, the second and the first inversion. For those of you who don't understand what an inversion is, it's which degree of the chord that you start on. For instance, when you start on the root, that would be the root inversion, and the first inversion would be starting from the third, the fifth, and the root. But in this case, I'm going to skip the fifth on the first inversion, so we only have two notes. And that works, it sounds nice. And then we're going to go to the second inversion, which would be like this. We would be using the fifth of the chord and the third of the chord. I also play it in another way, like this. You can play it like that, or like, and both work, but one has a larger stretch, and it allows you to do other things with this, adding different notes and things, which has its advantages. But I think for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using first inversion right here, the third of the F triad, which is an A, and the root. So you're only using two notes out of the triad, but that still works. Then we move up and we play the fifth and the third. So you have this. This would be the second inversion. There would be a C here, which is the fifth of the F chord, and an A, which is the third. So far you have, you can do a little bit of a slide, like a, or you could do something like this. And that'll work perfectly with any time you have an F triad. You're only using the notes from the triad, so it's going to work famously. Now the next, we're going up to A, which is the third, and using the fifth, which is the C. So you have this. So what we have so far are three shapes that we're going to be using on this bass chord tutorial. So let me play them and give you a little tip on my technique. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my third finger, my left hand, and my first finger. Then I'm going up to the next shape, and I'm using my second finger and index finger, and I'm doing that for a reason. Because the next shape goes up, I'm going to be using my ring finger and index, and it slides over real easy. So from here to here goes very smooth. Stick around, because I'd like to go elaborate on this and play a little more creative lines, show you a little preview of what I'm going to be doing later on in the video. Lines like that. This is the final shape, shape number 4 or 4. It sounds a little like this. What it is: A on the 19th fret of the D string, which is the third, which makes this a first inversion again. So then we have F on the 22nd fret, and that would be the root. So we have the third and the root. Now if we go back to the third shape, you'll notice there's a note in common. That would be the A, the third. So that is also a first inversion. So we might consider that a different voicing of the first inversion. I guess that would be an accurate description. Now that we've done all four of the shapes, let me play them up the neck and show you a line you can play. But I would like to point out, in order to memorize this so you can use it in other keys, you kind of have to realize the distance between these, and they're 4 and 5 frets apart, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but once you get the hang of it, you see where it is on the neck, you'll see. So this will be the first one, and then we go up 4 frets from the lowest note, 1, 2, 3, 4, and play the second shape, so that would be 4 frets apart. Now we go up 5 frets from the lowest note right here, but we're going over to the next 2 strings, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once again, we maintain the A, which so you really don't move any position further with the lower note. Let's try a line. So we're going to do this. Play it in triplets and go up the neck. Right now I'd like to add a little blues flavor to our chord, and how I'm going to do that is a common sound. It's just approaching the third by a half note and pivoting back and forth a little bit. Technically we're still on the first inversion because the root is the lowest note, but in the end I hit the root underneath an octave below, which makes it a root position. Not to confuse you, we're just going to call it first inversion. I've already gone over the first inversion with the F on the 22nd fret of the G, and the A, which is the third, which makes it a first inversion, on the 19th fret of the D, and the 20th fret on the A would be the root again. So you have an octave and a third technically, and we're going to call this first inversion. So here we go. So just for the sake of being able to use that anywhere, let's look at this so you can move it around, as an isolated one measure lick to throw in whenever you're playing a major triad. So we'll take, why don't we try an A? So to find how to play this lick, you have to get your top note, and that's the root, and that's the one that's going to be the chord, and use this shape. So an A on the 14th fret of the G string, and then you go down and grab your third, which is 4 frets down, or 4 frets apart, and you approach it by a half step. And you hit the root, which is on the 12th fret of the A string. And then I just played it starting with the half note approach to the third, and then hit the octave afterwards. While going down like this, starting with the A above. So that's a great lick to throw in somewhere when you want to add a little spice and a little blues, and it's very simple to play. Also, I'm going to take this. It's a triplet. Da, 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 1 and a 2, and so it would work perfectly, and was intended originally to be the second measure of the last example I just played. If you like this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit a like, make a comment. Let me know how you like this. There's a lot more I can do with this, especially with chord melody, and I'd like to do some more. I'll see how the interest goes. And in the meantime, keep playing, and thank you for stopping by.